I want to thank Hallmark Home Mortgage. They're all in the house. Tina Bennett. I think Candace is here somewhere. Mark Moisling. Without their support, you could not do events this first class. And I also want to give a big shout out and thanks to my team. Melissa Schneider, Jacqueline, her son Zan's here today, Shelly, Hannah. To put an event together like this, we've been working on this for a couple months. So it's great to see you all. Shout out to my team and a big thanks to Hallmark. Thanks, you guys. So just a couple things before I bring our speaker up here. I got my license in 1991. I just graduated high school, to date myself. I took the state test with a number 2 pencil, and I had to fill in all the dots. And then I went away to college, and I had to wait 6 weeks to find out if I passed the damn test. Then later, when I transferred, I got a job for a broker owner in Bloomington, and he was super high tech, big office, and he gave me a pager. And every time that he had stuff that I needed to do, he would just call a voicemail, and he would leave a voicemail, and the voicemail would page me. And then I moved home, and I started selling real estate, and they passed out MLS books every week, and we had to know how the MLS was, what we were going to show then. And then I got my own pager, so people could just page me their number when they needed me to call them. Then the MLS went online, and that was cool. But we still had to drive around and pick up keys to go show the homes. And then when we were done, we had to drive back and take them back. And then the listing agents were really pissed if you didn't get the key back in time for the next showing. Or you had to meet another showing agent to give them the keys to show the home. Then came along the cool flip phones. Oh, no, the bag phone. I had a bag phone in my car. That was super cool. I don't know what year that was. That was probably like 99, something like that. Big box. Couldn't take it out of the car. Had that. Yeah, had an antenna on the car. Then the flip phone came out, and that was cool. Got a lot more mobile. And then I got a BlackBerry. Did anybody in here have a BlackBerry? Does anybody remember what a BlackBerry was? They were so cool because they had a keyboard. And then the cool iPhone came out, but it wasn't as cool. Nobody was going to get rid of their BlackBerry because it was easier to type on than the iPhone. Well, how'd that work out? Right. Then the internet kept evolving. Then we had Google, right? It took over the world. And all along, and I didn't throw in their fax machines and all this other kind of stuff, but basically, the point I want to make is this. Does anybody in here follow Gary Vee or any of the thought influencers out there in the world, marketers? Technology is undefeated. Technology is undefeated. It's not going to lose. Over time, it's going to evolve. The world keeps evolving. And so this AI thing has become more powerful, is going to have a greater impact of anything than we've dealt with. And so for those of us, myself included, who are slow to the game, what's this chat all about? There's all these other AI capabilities. What's it about? So my team and I have been starting to really throw ourselves into this. But it's one of those things that if I can't emphasize it enough, it's going to simplify your life. It's a tool. It can be scary. Who in here thinks AI is going to take over the world? I know some do. Some of you have told me. Where's this going to go? But I want to make this point. Technology is undefeated. And so one of the things here at Success in Real Estate we want to do is keep you informed with awesome content, meaningful, valuable training materials. And my goal every time we do an event is this. You walk out of here with 2 tangible ideas that you can incorporate in your life or your business that make your life or your business better. So a successful event today isn't necessarily about becoming a pro in AI. It's just you pick up a couple things you can leave here today and incorporate in your life or business. We're using them for video, for content, for training, for retreat agendas. Tyler's going to show you all kinds of little ways it can save tons of time. Mark Moisling just mentioned in the back of the room today. He's now using it. He did a little AI boot camp. It's saving him, I think he said 8 to 12 hours a week. So understanding what its capabilities are and finding a couple areas you can focus on is really huge. So a couple things about today before I call up Tyler. This is going to be, whenever you present and train on technology, and we've been doing this for years. I've been an owner for 22 years now. Technology is tough. Everybody's at different levels. Some of you, who has never even logged into chat or used it ever? Who's brave enough to raise their hand right now? Yeah, Larry did. We got one. I'm not sure I'm buying that. But we have people at different levels. And so today's all about showing you what it's capable of. But I want the training today to be very interactive. We got 4 microphones. They're going to be floating around. Tyler's not only going to present information, he's going to actually show you tangible, applicable things you can be using, and he's going to show you on the screen how they work. He's open to any questions. We had dinner last night. We talked at length. I'm going to have a mic. We're going to make this engaging. And if you want to know about anything, you didn't understand what he showed, or what could you do this? What is it capable of this? Just raise your hand. My team Rye will be over with a mic, and we want it to be interactive. So, having said that, my good friend, I would say one of the foremost AI experts in the real estate world in the country. In our network, he speaks all over the country. He's from Dayton, Ohio. He has 9 offices and about 200 agents. But AI, he is the AI man. I can tell you everybody from our network, from the top down, when they want to talk about different technologies, directions to take the company, he's the guy they reach out to. So he's not here to sell you a course. He's an owner. He works in it every day. He's not here to tell you AI is coming because it's already here. And he's figured out how to actually make it work for real estate agents. From saving time on busy work to generating leads while you sleep, he's taking all the trial and error and handling you all the shortcuts. So straight out of Ohio, here to shake things up is my good buddy and good friend Tyler Morton. Tyler, come on up.
Thanks, man. Yeah. All right. So hopefully my mic pack's on. I think I hear myself. All right, sweet. So first and foremost, if you guys could throw the slides on or the computer on, that'd be great, because I made this entire guide that you guys can download. So pretty much everything that we're going to be talking about today is going to be on this QR code. And it does change. I update it regularly. So if you guys run into something where you're like, hey, new technology's out, come back and check out this guide, because it will be there for you as I continue to update it. I think there's only one tool that I'm talking about today that is not on here, but I'll make sure that I tell you guys when that happens. So hopefully you were able to capture that. I will bring it back up at the end, but let's go ahead and dig in. All right, so AI in real estate from content to closings. This one's pretty simple. I say simple. What I'm really excited about today is that I'm going to be able to show you real-world examples of how I use it. So a lot of times I'll spend an hour talking about these things, and it'll be very high level because we'll go through 20 tools very, very quickly, and I don't have time to show you how I'm interacting with AI, but today we're able to do that. So excited to do that. Like Todd said, if you guys have questions at all, feel free to ask them. Raise your hand. I'll make sure to call on you. We'll get you a mic, and we'll stop and go over whatever questions you have. All right, so critical questions agents face. Will AI replace agent? This keeps professionals awake at night. The real answer is only if you don't embrace it. So Todd queued this up perfectly for me because we were talking about Gary Vee.
And you mentioned AI, so what are you thinking in terms of when you look at adoption of AI? I know we had a session before as well where we were talking about AI itself and what it's going to do. What are you most excited about? Or how do you use it today?
Well, I use it every day. What I'm most excited about is that the robots are going to kill our children. That should be fascinating to watch. I'm most excited about that when the tractor trailer was invented, almost 80% of the world worked on a farm. And everybody was scared. Because now there's this invention, and we don't need people to work on farms. What are all these people going to do? I would argue that the most underrated thing in the world is the human race. We are incredibly good at underestimating our collective selves. I believe AI is about to be here as we can feel it. I think it's going to be dramatically more advanced, even as a group like this feels it today. And I believe that it will open up an extraordinary amount of hours for the human to do the next chapter of what she and he does, which is advance our race. And I'm very excited about it. I'm wildly optimistic. I am not naive. Like everything that has ever happened, there will be shortcomings. But I'm not crying for the job reallocation. Nobody cried for all the yellow page salespeople that got blown out by Google. Some poor sap bought 4,000 horses the day Henry Ford's like, I've got an idea. It is what it is. Like, again, back to can't cry about what you can't control. We all need to woman and man up. This is innovation. This is technology. Technology is undefeated.
There you go. Wonder where Todd got that line, right? Technology is undefeated. So the big question, obviously, going back to this is, will AI replace agents? And I think the answer is no. We are in a people-to-people business, right? It is a contact sport. There's a reason that Zillow, love them or hate them, hasn't replaced us yet, right? They're trying. They're still trying. But agents that use AI, it will supercharge your business. Absolutely. The amount of productivity that you can have in an hour of time, and we've got just over an hour today, hour and a half. We're going to show you how you can do that. So, all right, universal pain point is content. Who here has been to a conference before and taken 10 pages of notes and never looked at them again? Guilty, right? All right, so the very first thing that I want you to do, if you guys have an iPhone or an Android, you can open it up and go to Notes, all right? This is pretty simple. I don't know what it's called on Google. I know you have a Notes app. If you go to the Notes app, let me pull mine up here. We click on New Note, which is the little pencil on a pad of paper, and there's a paper clip. If you don't have a paper clip, you haven't updated your phone in a while, and you need to do that. All right, so click on that paper clip, and you're gonna hit record audio. All right, this is super simple. You record audio, it will record everything that you're hearing today, and it will create a transcription for you. So when you're done with that file, up at the top right, you're gonna see transcription. You can copy that and throw it into ChatGPT. Do I have ChatGPT users in here? Sweet, all right. You can throw that transcription into ChatGPT and it will summarize it. I'm chairman of the MLS committee at my local board. And the first time I did that, my MLS counterpart, she goes, oh my gosh, you are the best chairman ever. Because I took it and I sent her meeting summary, meeting minutes. I sent it to her right there while I was there, and she was like, how? And I explained it to her, and she was like, that's the dumbest, easiest thing you could possibly do. So I do have a file here, so I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. This is actually a really long transcription. This was Todd Stock speaking at my event last month. All right, so here we go. There it is, and summarize this. We'll say presentation. It's going to take a second. Okay, faster than I thought. All right, presentation summary from Chaos to Closings by Todd Stock. Opening background, Tyler welcomed attendees and introduced Todd Stock. Todd shared his early humbling story of losing his very first listing due to inexperience. Main themes, Todd's presentation focused on 3 key areas: elite productivity, managing seller expectations, next level connections, and here's your practical nuggets. All right, that's it. That was over an hour presentation that Todd did, and I summarized it in what, 10 seconds? So here's one of the real cool practical uses that we can use ChatGPT for. All right, this is great. Let me try something else here. I'm gonna go over to a site called TurboScribe. When I said there's one that's on here that I don't have in that AI presentation, TurboScribe is one of my favorites. I'm gonna transcribe a file, and I've got it up here. So this one just came out. Let's see which link it is. Here we go.
Hey, Tyler, can I interrupt for one second?
Yeah.
So the transcription that he just talked about that your phones are doing, you can take that and drop it in and obviously get the notes. We did a leadership team retreat a few months ago. We did the same thing, but it was a 4-hour retreat. I just had my phone on the table all day, and everybody's input from the entire day, we were able to take entire minutes and notes, summarize, and I was able to push that back out to the team. But if you think about this kind of a concept at another level, if you're all about getting better and improving your own skill sets, could you not go on a listing presentation and set it down and let it listen to you. And then, Tyler, could you not drop it in and ask chat to recap it all?
100%.
Could you not also ask chat to tell you where you were strong, where you could have improved?
Yep.
And what went down in that meeting so you can get direct feedback from an actual live meeting and make your skill sets better?
100%. No, it can be your coach. It can be your assistant. It can be whatever you ask it to be. You can even do role-playing scenarios where you're like, hey, walk me through this, like Todd said. Real-world example, where could I improve on that listing, okay? You can change that and say, what if the seller asked me this? What if they would have said yes, or how should I have closed that listing appointment so that you walked out of there with that contract? But here's a great video. This is an example of how you can use ChatGPT, okay? I'm gonna take this video. This is how to turn every listing into more listings. Jimmy Mackin is awesome. We're going to take his link to his YouTube video. I'm gonna transcribe this. It'll take a few seconds, so we'll actually come back to it. So it's importing from YouTube. We're gonna come back to that, but we're gonna show you exactly how I can drop that transcription into YouTube, or into ChatGPT, and say, okay, I want this to work for me, right? All right, so here we go, transcribe. All right, it's working on it. It's a 15-minute video, shouldn't take very long. But again, this is TurboScribe. This is the second one I've done today because I did Todd's. You get 3 free per day transcriptions. So you can automate so much of this. All right, so we're gonna come back to that. Let me head over here. Voice to text apps, Apple Notes, like I said, Google Keep, that is Android's product. The other two that I use all the time are Otter and Fireflies. I see a lot of people taking notes. You don't need to. Otter AI and Fireflies record every Zoom meeting that I'm on. Even if I'm not there, it will record those meetings. And the cool thing is, how many of you guys get like 25 invites to Zooms per week from different companies? Yeah? Who has time to attend all those? I don't. I'd love to, because I love learning. I love absorbing more information. But those can go on there and summarize those meetings for me as well. So some really cool things that you could do. You could even, especially if you're doing Zoom appointments with clients, which we do because we have a lot of military relocation, we'll have Zoom appointments with them prior to them actually getting into town. So we'll summarize those for me. Then we have B.Computer. This is this little device on my wrist that listens to everything all the freaking time, which is a little terrifying. My wife is like, please turn that off as soon as you walk into the house. I did leave it on the other day, and my kids were watching some Netflix show, and it was like, Tyler has a daughter that plays quarterback for the football team, and she injured her shoulder. And I was like, no, that is not true. So it gives you suggestions, but some really cool things that it does. Again, it's my note taker, right? Here's what I asked it. This is after a listing appointment that I went to. I was filling in for an agent that his wife has some medical issues. So I don't typically go on these listing appointments. But I went to this listing appointment, and I was like completely unprepared. I didn't take notes. They called me out with short notice, and they were giving me the history of the water heater age, right? They were giving me the history of the furnace and when they replaced the roof and all these different things. And I was like, shoot, I didn't write any of that down. What am I gonna write for this listing description? All right, so I asked B, I said, the chat interface is called Buzz, but I said, what were the upgrades and updates the seller discussed? And it gave them all to me. I'll review the conversation with the seller, a 1482 fudge drive. And it said, do you know the dates they were replaced? I asked, do you know the dates they replaced the utilities and appliances? And it goes on to say the water heater was replaced last year in 2024. The furnace and AC was installed in 2010. The roof was replaced. No specific date provided. For other updates, the seller mentioned that the dishwasher was not even a year old. And at the time of conversation, so installed in 2024, and other appliances were replaced within the last 2 years. How awesome is that? All right. Another use case for you. If you're at a home and you don't have this discussion with your clients, you can go over to the furnace and take a picture of the serial number of any of those utilities, furnace, water heater, etc. Take a picture and upload it to ChatGPT and say, what year was this made? So when your buyers ask you when you're showing a house and you have no idea, hold on just a second. Snap a photo, upload it. It'll tell you, hey, it was manufactured in whatever year. So let me head over to TurboScribe and see if my transcription's done. It is. All right, so we're going to export this transcript. I'm just going to do it as a text file. All right, so there we are. And let's go new chat. I want to use this to generate more business. Add photos or files. Todd said technology's undefeated. I will break technology today, I promise. It happens every time. All right, perfect. This playbook is a goldmine for generating more business. The transcript you uploaded lays out 5 marketable moments. All right, pre-appointment buzz. Send a teaser, text, email, social post before you even meet the seller. Subject, I might get fined for sending you this. Message, headed to a potential seller today. If they list the home, this home will go viral on Zillow. I'll update you later. All right, so I've got all this and I'm like, this is cool, but this is still just the playbook. All right, let's say that I want to use it for that house that I just listed. Let's just use that as an example. My new listing is at 1482 Fudge Drive in Beaver Creek. I'm just having a conversation. Nice, let's turn 1482 Fudge Drive into your business generator. I'll map it into the 5 campaigns so you can literally copy and paste and use it. How awesome is that, right? This took me, other than waiting for it to transcribe that file, this took me, what, 10 seconds? All right, here's the subject. I might get fined for sending you this. I'm headed to meet a seller today who's thinking about putting their home on the market. If they decide to list it, it's going to blow up on Zillow. I'll circle back later, wish me luck. All right, that is a message that you send out to your entire sphere, your entire database, before you ever go list that home. This is such an easy campaign. So you send that out and you can say, reply back if you're interested. And I'll let you know if I get the listing, right? So you can go a little bit more in depth. Post-appointment tease. Subject, I was wrong. The house at 1482 Fudge Drive looks even better in person than I expected. Forget going viral on Zillow, it might break the internet. We're going live this week, so if you'd like me to text you when it hits, let me know. I don't love this because I like getting the response before I ever go on that listing presentation. I can, before I go on that listing presentation, send this out and show that seller at the appointment, here's how many replies I had, right? Before, hey, I'm marketing your home and I don't even have the contract yet. Forward to a friend, here's the campaign, all right? So it's written all of these emails for me, right? This was simple. That's just one example. There's, millions of YouTube videos that you could take and transcribe and apply this exact same principle to. So the content is out there, you've got it. Just start turning that into action items for you.
Hey, Tyler, can I cut in again?
Yeah.
So one other thing I believe you can do when you have chat come up with campaigns or ways for you to leverage a listing, try to move up front here, is can you not, some of those headers and subject lines were attention grabbing. Can you not ask chat, whether it be a video, your hook, your memo, if you're going to send a piece out to your database, can't you ask chat to give the most compelling subject lines that will pull people in to increase your open rates? Correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about Tech with Ty and your open rates and how you do that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so email is by far the most effective marketing that most agents don't use. I've been doing Tech with Ty for, 2 years now? I think I'm on, this week will be 137 straight weeks of me sending an email every week to about 10,000 agents, and I have over a 70% open rate. Because if you provide value, people will open and they will read it. So the same thing goes for your clients in your database. You should be, and agents freak out when I say this, you should be emailing your client in your database in your sphere every single week. And if you don't know what to write, ask ChatGPT. So let's do that. You guys want to do that? I have no idea anything about Fort Wayne, Indiana. All right, so I'm going to create a new chat here. and say, write an email to my database. And it knows a lot about me. And I'm going to show you some things and tweaks that you can make to your ChatGPT account here in just a second. But for time's sake, we're going to go ahead and do this. Write an email to my database about fall activities. And I don't use punctuation when I talk, so specifically, this is difficult when I'm on stage.
Tyler, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
And maybe Jacqueline or you could concur, great open rates on email marketing would be considered 25 to 40%. Just to put that in some context to that open rate is 70, it's off the charts. So leveraging some of these things that resonate will help you get better marketing results.
All right. Write an email to my database about fall activities, specifically pumpkin patches and Halloween events in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You definitely have to proof these because we actually do these for our agents every week where they can just copy and paste them. You can do the exact same thing. You could tailor it to your city. It doesn't have to be Fort Wayne. It could be a suburb. But here we go. Hey, first name, autumn's calling and Fort Wayne is answering the pumpkin patches, spooky strolls, corn mazes, all the cozy vibes. Here are some local favorites to add to your calendar and must do with family list. All right, pumpkin patches and harvest fun. Cunard Dairy Fall Festival, amazing fall fun, J&L Pick and Patch, other local picks. Here's the spooky events, tips before you go. And you can say, okay, that's cool. Okay. Add links to the websites for places that have them. A lot of these seasonal places don't have websites, so it's searching the web for me. Here you go. It has now added those links for me. I didn't say anything about real estate in that email, did I? Do you think your clients would find that valuable? You're not cramming real estate down their throat. All you are doing is becoming a resource for them. You know, this goes for anything that we talk about, whether it's fall events or real estate news. Who had clients that asked them about the NAR lawsuit last year? Anyone? Couple? Who had clients that they met with and you went into talking about buyer-broker agreements and the client was like, huh? They had no idea anything about a lawsuit, right? People believe what they read in the headlines and that everything's doom and gloom because they're reading, you know, headline news, right? It's sensationalism. So you have to be the news for them on what is actually happening in real estate. They see what's happening in Austin, Texas, that builders have built too many houses and things aren't selling and they're sitting in the market. That's not necessarily what's happening in Fort Wayne, Indiana, right? So you have to keep them up to date. So we've been doing these emails as well for all of our clients for the past 2 years. We send them every single week. Yeah.
We have a question back here. You mentioned doing this in your database. Is ChatGPT a separate database?
No, so I would take this email, and if you guys are using Bold Trailer or Follow Up Boss or whatever tool that you use, your CRM, I would just copy this email from ChatGPT. I would copy this, paste it in there, and hit send to everyone in my entire database. So I highly recommend if you're not using a CRM, start. Today's the best day you can do it, and start blasting out that email.
Coaching moment, I'm jumping in again. So when we coach agents, we talk all the time, and when we hire new agents, the absolute first thing you need to be doing is creating your database, your sphere of influence. So who in here has one? Great. Who has one in a CRM? Okay, so today is going to accentuate a point that we make a lot in our coaching, and it's this. AI will not replace real estate agents, but real estate agents who use AI will replace those who don't. So if you don't have your database in a CRM, you can see how lethal and effective you can be so quickly using AI. But if you don't have a database, you can't leverage this tool the way you really could. You can use it for social and get out to your network, but if you have your database or your sphere of influence in a CRM, you become lethal, quick, informative, connection, the volume of connection, the repetition and the consistency is a different game. And so I always say there are no new fundamentals. There's a new tool, but the fundamental is the same. It's about connection with people. And if you don't have your contact database or sphere of influence in a CRM, you're going to get beat by people that do, because they're going to be leveraging this tool in ways that you can't keep up. So I just want to make that point.
In that QR code that I gave you, that guide, I have the list in subjects for every email that we've ever sent, up through like maybe March of this year. So how's the market? Super Bowl food ideas, 3-day weekend getaways near Dayton, energy efficiency tips for your home, great weather, local spots, celebrate St. Patrick's Day, flowers for plant serial killers. That one got opened, right? So it's so easy to create this content, and take these and steal them. You can reuse these. A lot of these are evergreen, meaning you can recycle them every year, because your database should continue to grow. So by all means, steal these headlines. I've got the exact prompts that we use, how to create engaging subject lines, etc. Use this and start sending out emails every week, and I promise you won't be annoying your clients. I think that's the biggest fear, is agents are like, I don't want to send something out every week. They're going to think that I'm just pestering them or bugging them. Again, I'm not talking about real estate. I'm just telling them what's going on in the market. I'm telling them what's going on locally, and I can tell you, from sending out Tech with Ty, I was terrified when I first sent that out. I was hoping that I was going to get a 20% open rate. And week after week, that list, a lot of times it gets reported as spam. Week after week, that list actually continued to grow because people were sharing it with their colleagues that I did not have in my list of agents. So, same thing. You will have some unsubscribes, and that's fine. But who here has had a client, a past client, that was like, oh, I wasn't thinking when I went to the open house and wrote the offer, right? Who here has had a family member buy or sell with somebody else? That sucks, huh? That one burns. So, all right, let's go back here. All right, so we turn those transcripts into personalized weekly client emails, engaging social media captions, timely seller update text, professional listing descriptions. Who here has used ChatGPT for listing descriptions? Sweet. All right. I'm going to tell you how to make that better. All right. But first, I want to go into some ChatGPT basics. All right. So I've got ChatGPT. I do pay for the $20 a month program. I did for a while pay for the $200 a month program. I don't recommend it. It didn't do anything cool. I've got some other tools that I'm going to show you that are way more affordable and way cooler. But over here on my personal account, I can go over here to settings. All right. And we go to personalization. And in here you have enable customization, ChatGPT personality. I've got default on there. You can change this to cynic, robot, listener, nerd. But I have custom instructions in here. Use the following style guide when writing. All right? How did I do that? I went over to Google Drive, and let's pull up a Tech with Ty real quick. We'll just take, I don't know, this last one was fine. I'm going to copy that entire thing. Go back to ChatGPT and say, new chat. Create a style guide based on this email. Here's how I write. I didn't know I wrote like this. I didn't know how to explain that. Overall voice and tone, conversational and witty, confident but approachable, engaging and story-driven, punchy sentences. Then it goes into the actual framework of my email, which is technology, education, coaching, and how-to. Hooks matter. Use playful or provocative subject lines like "you mad at me crazy," parentheses and asides, insert side comments to keep things human. So it's writing exactly like I do now. I can't say that I haven't gone in here, and I will give it an idea for a Tech with Ty section and have it write that section. Now, I'll still go by it and edit it because I do want it to feel human, but it's writing exactly like I do, just from me copying this and putting it into ChatGPT instructions. That's it. So ChatGPT by far is the best $20 per month I spend, just from the sheer fact that I can do all these cool things, right? You can even, like here, I created a custom GPT. Does anyone know, has anyone created a custom GPT? So it can be trained, yeah, we got a couple hands, sweet. It can be trained on anything that you tell it, but if you're doing repetitive tasks, like I took my Tech with Ty, and I throw it over into Google Notebook. Has anyone used Google Notebook? A couple hands. All right, another free tool for you, Notebook LM. All right, and I'm gonna go to this one. I took Tech with Ty, AI Marketing and Digital Mastery, and I've got Tech with Ty 125 in here. So I uploaded it, and I go over here to Audio Overview. This will take a second. Oh, it's actually already done. I did it 90 days ago.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really jumping
It created an entire podcast for me based on my email.
into
I
a
clicked a
pretty
button.
wild mix of sources from
It's two people
Tech
talking.
with Ty 125. It's like a mini master class in navigating the modern world, you know? Everything from keeping up with tech changes to timeless marketing principles.
It's quite a range.
So our goal, like always, is to sort of pull out those core ideas, the practical stuff, and turn what might seem like really different topics into takeaways you can actually use.
Exactly. We'll be exploring how things like constant learning, digital security, which is huge right now, and
How cool is that? Is that crazy? I now question every podcast that I listen to, whether it's real or not. You can actually use, there's some companies out there like 11 Labs where you can clone your voice and it would talk in your voice.
Hey,
But-
Tyler, can I chime in?
Yeah.
One time? Back to you dropping in some of your writing styles. One of the things that our team's starting to utilize as well is we do training tips and videos every week. Well, when you get a history of your emails to your database, social media posts, videos, whatever, it's easy to track typically, especially with CRMs and open rates, what resonated. You're always going to get one email that everybody opened and then several they didn't. Go back and your database, the market's going to tell you what resonates and what works. So when you find the stuff that works, grab it. For example, like on my chat, we took over the last 5 years my top 12 performing videos. We took them all and I dropped them all in chat and asked chat to identify what was the style, pace, pattern, messaging, whatever was in these 12, make sure you incorporate that into the style of my writing and the message I want to get across moving forward. So it literally learns you and your style, but it also helps you learn what's connecting with your database at a higher level. And you're going to continue to get better and better open rates, hence why he has a 70% open rate. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. So yeah, you can create a podcast. What I did, so my workflow was, hey, I write the email, right? Write the email to the clients. In my case, clients are agents. And then I take that, I throw it into Notebook LM. It creates a podcast because I understand that my audience doesn't necessarily have time to read a giant email that I send out every week. So I was like, hey, I'm going to give them an alternative and make a podcast available for them. So here's my podcast, but I'm like, oh man, now I got to take that over and put it into Spotify, and I've got to write a new title, and I've got to write a new description, and that's a giant pain in the ass. So I go over here to podcast title and description. This is a custom GPT that I created, and all I have to do is drag and drop my my email, my Tech with Ty email, into here. Let's go ahead and just do that. Let me download this one. We'll just do it as a Word doc. And you can create these for anything, but repetitive tasks, you'll want to create a custom GPT. And you can do this, let's see, Tech with Ty. All right, drop in Tech with Ty. I don't even have to give it instructions, I just gave it the document. So the title is This Week in Tech with Ty, Meta Glasses, Realtor Storytelling, and AI Photo Fixes. In this episode of Tech with Ty, we're diving into the tech that's shaping tomorrow. So there's my entire description, right? You can create these custom GPTs to do anything that you want, especially if you're doing it a lot. So for listing descriptions, that's a great example of, hey, keep this under 1,000 characters or whatever your limit is in your MLS. Keep it under 1,000 characters, write in this style, and put any other custom instructions that you want. Hey, don't mention schools, don't mention familial status or anything like that, because Who here has written with ChatGPT a listing description? It's like perfect for families. Yeah? So you can create those instructions really, really easily. But I do want to show you another great example of how we can do this, all right? Here's a couple cool things that we can do. I'm going to go over to my local MLS, and I'm sure you guys have something similar. Who here has stats that the MLS sends out every month, right? All right, I've got this. What do you guys do with these stats? Does anyone do anything with them? Other than like, hey, these are great stats, I love them. All right, I'm gonna just copy this and go back to ChatGPT, new chat. There's my stats. Create me 5 social posts around this content. Told you I'd break it. All right. Market snapshot. Dayton housing market, August 2025, 1,369 homes and condos sold. All right. Buyer focus post. Median home price in Dayton jumped to $260,000 this August. It's up 4.42% from last year. Seller focus post. New listings are up 3.19%, but demand is still strong. All right. We also have housing at a glance. And the quick question, if your home sold today for $302,000, the average sale price in Dayton last month, what would you do with the money? Drop your answer below. I'd love to hear it.
Wow. So real quick, for all the Upstart members, we get all the Upstart stats, your infographics. Is that nuts? You can just drop it in, create posts, and get your database right away.
Yep. Go ahead.
When you're doing this, are you using a business Facebook page or are you using your personal?
It's up to you. I used to say always recommend having a business Facebook page.
All right, so when doing this, is it best to have a business Facebook page? Or I guess I always did that, then realized nobody's looking at it. That's
Yeah.
Just my personal one where 90% of it is personal, they're commenting on that, then they see the
So a lot of times the question was, do you post it on personal or your business page? And it used to be that, hey, I would recommend posting everything business related on your business page and not personal. But Facebook over the last 2 years has really changed that algorithm and nothing gets seen, right? Our posts that used to get hundreds or thousands of views, unless you're paying for them, which Facebook wants you to do, barely get seen. So a lot of times I will take my business post and I will put it on there and then share it to my personal account. So now I've got it in both places. So my likelihood of getting seen is obviously more. All right. Who here has, before I jump into the next tool, who here has used AI or photo editing software? Yeah? Have you guys used ChatGPT to edit any of your photos? I've got heads shaking. I love it. All right. All right. If you did not know, I'm just going to go to, whoa. Let's go over to the most hated site in real estate. And I'm going to click on this. I'm just going to take this photo. I think they do a weird format, so I'm just going to screenshot this. Let's go Command Shift. Let me actually select it. And we're going to tell ChatGPT, and I'm not condoning this. I'm just showing you how to do it. Make the grass greener. I'm just showing you an example. But you can do this. You can remove furniture. You can add. You can do virtual staging. You could add a photo of an empty room and make sure you're disclaiming that on the MLS. I don't know what your rules are. Ours, we can do it as long as we say virtually staged. But it's creating this image for me. I'll tell you what's actually a better version than ChatGPT than this is, it's called Nano Banana. Does anyone use that one? It's a fun little name by Google, and it's way faster, and it's way better. So you can do some really cool things with it. But let's give this just a second. I'm just going to go to Gemini. All right. We're going to do the same thing here. We'll see which one's better. Upload a file. Make the grass greener. This takes about 7 seconds, 8 seconds, as opposed to ChatGPT, which is still loading. We'll see which one wins. That's how I know I'm a nerd. I'm excited. I'm cheering for one. We now have perfectly manicured grass. Does not quite look real. And ChatGPT is still loading. You see the difference. And I could go back and tell this like, hey, that's too green, right? So there are tons of AI tools that you can use, and you've probably heard of some of them. ChatGPT is by far my most used tool. That's why I said it's the best $20 I spend every month. I do use Gemini because their photo editor is way better. It's way faster. You can do some really cool things. We recently had, in my area, we had a bear sighting, right? When I talk about local content, this was as local as you can get. We had a bear sighting in our suburb, and we don't have bears. And so everybody's freaking out, like catching it on a ring cam and stuff like that, and they're posting on Facebook. So Abby, my marketing director, and I were like, hey, let's have some fun with this. And we were like, how can we use this to get some views? And so Abby went outside and pretended she was feeding the bear. And then we used AI to say, hey, add a bear that looks like it's eating out of her hand. And we posted that on Facebook, and we had thousands and thousands of views, including a lot of people that were like, please don't feed the bears. And I'm like, okay, it's not real. But yeah, it went viral a little bit. And we're like, hey, it was at our office. And then we had some more fun with it. So I used something called VO3, which is a product by Google. This one does cost money. I think you get some free credits. But I spend way too much money on a lot of shiny objects. So I don't even know which account I have here. We'll give this a shot. Google tends to log me out of everything. Oh. Get what? Your Motorola Moto G Play? No. More ways to verify. All right, let's get a text real quick. It doesn't like that I'm on public Wi-Fi in Indiana. All right, let's see if I get the text. All right. Told you I'd break stuff. All right, so here's my projects once they load. And we had some more fun with the bear. So I wrote a prompt that said a realistic young black bear, smaller than the adult size, sits behind a modern office desk inside RE/MAX Victory and Affiliates real estate office. The bear has its paws on the desk next to a laptop. And I did go to ChatGPT and said, hey, write me a script or a prompt for VO because I'm not good at knowing how to prompt it. I said, write me a script about a bear sitting behind a desk. This is what I want it to say. So let's take, you guys want to watch this real quick? All right, I think this is the one I ended up using.
At RE/MAX Victory and Affiliates, we don't just work hard, we bear down and get results. At RE/MAX Victory and Affiliates.
That was it. Like, that's how crazy AI is getting, is we can create a bear drinking a cup of coffee behind a desk at my office in like 10 seconds. These are cool things that you can do. Be creative with your marketing. AI, again, isn't going to replace you, but you've got to be creative with it. And when you don't know what to ask it what you should be asking. I think that's the biggest downfall is agents don't know where to start. Just start having a conversation. So I've got in here this really generic prompt, and ChatGPT is very much a garbage in, garbage out system. So if you give a crappy prompt, you're going to have crappy results. This is a crappy prompt. I don't want you to use this. But I'm a real estate agent in your city. I'm brand new to using AI. Show me step by step how I can save time on paperwork and follow-ups, create simple listing content, find new leads and opportunities, make it simple and practical with examples. All right, so I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. And what I'm doing here is illustrating how we can dig deeper. All right, so this is, oh, I didn't give it my city. Stop. City is Fort Wayne. Perfect. Let's make something super simple step by step. All right, the boring stuff first. AI can knock this out fast. Client follow-up emails. Write a friendly follow-up email to a home buyer in Fort Wayne who toured a house yesterday. That's kind of boring. Summarize notes and contracts. If you upload a copy, paste showing notes. Here are my 3 showing notes, summarized 3 bullet points. All right, so I'm getting stuff that I wouldn't use, right? This is a lot of boring stuff. Write a fun social post about pumpkin patches and fall activities. It knows that I just asked that, all right? Write a professional listing description for a 2-bath home in Fort Wayne. Email newsletter. All right, how to use this daily. All right, I hate all of these. It's gonna know now that that's too generic. I should have told it that's too generic. Let's scrap the whole approach. Since you hate all of those, let's reset and rebuild. I'm gonna be the first one the robots kill, I promise. Take a voice memo after a showing. All right, for contracts, create simple content that doesn't suck. Skip the fake social media guru vibe, go hyper local. Paste your MLS details, write a punchy 2-sentence Facebook post about this listing that would make my Fort Wayne friends stop scrolling. I like that. All right, so now I take my listing, dump it into here, and it will write that post for me. Neighborhood spotlight, write a casual post about why people love living near Foster Park. Is that a real place? All right, I like that. Let's do that. All right, hopefully people actually like living near Foster Park. Keep it under 80 words and end with a question. Living near Foster Park means more than just a great view. It's morning walks on the trails, weekend picnics, and some of the best summer blooms in Fort Wayne. Neighbors love the mix of peaceful nature and quick access to downtown. What's your favorite thing to do at Foster Park? All right, let's say, and I can Google and find images, but a lot of those are copyrighted. Or I can go back over to Gemini and say, create a photo of a hiking trail in Indiana. That way it's not like a desert, right? Here's a photo of a hiking trail. Cool. It doesn't have to be the actual place, right? That one's a cool looking image that people are gonna stop scrolling. All right, I'm gonna jump into something really, really cool. This is a little bit more advanced. If you guys have questions at this point, I know I've flown through some of this stuff, but I am trying to show you like real world examples of when you don't know what to ask it what you should ask next, or tell it sucks. I use Grok in my car. It's built into my car. Before I had that, I would actually talk to, I'd drive to Kentucky at least once a week. I would talk to AI, just brainstorming ideas. Hey, let's do this in real time. All right, with winter approaching, I'm looking to drum up business before the end of the year. What are some cool ideas that I can use to generate some new buyers or sellers?
Absolutely, let's chat about that. So as the chili season rolls in, there are definitely a few fun and creative ways to catch folks' attention. For starters, you could think about hosting a cozy winter open house event, maybe serve up some hot cocoa or cider to make it feel a bit more festive. People love a good excuse to get warm and comfy while checking out a new place. Another idea is to run a little social media.
It hurt itself. Okay, I don't love the first idea with a cozy open house, but I do think maybe like a winter client event might be cool. Can you help me plan one of those?
Of course, a winter client event is a great spin. We can definitely run with that. So picture something like a winter warm-up mixer where you invite past clients, potential new ones, and maybe some community folks. You could have a little hot chocolate bar, some light snacks, maybe even a small giveaway or raffle.
I love it. Where would the best place in Dayton, Ohio be to host that?
So if we're talking Dayton, you've actually got some pretty cool spots to choose from. For something a little classy and unique, the Dayton Art Institute is a beautiful venue. It's got
That's
that
too
elegant...
expensive.
No worries at all. If the Art Institute's a bit too pricey, there are definitely more budget-friendly options.
You get the idea, right? I can just keep going with that conversation and say, okay, now generate the invitation, write the email for that, post the social content that I'm going to be using to hype it up for my clients. Yeah? That was ChatGPT. Yep. I use Grok now. Here's an example. A lot of times, who here is rushed to their next showing and doesn't know anything about the house? All the time. All right? Let's see if I have this.
Hey, Tyler, can I jump in again
Yeah,
real quick? So he was just talking to Chat, right? How many people are driving down the road all the time, going 100 miles an hour with your hair on fire, and you remember things you should have done, didn't do, all that stuff, right? So when you set up the widget to talk to Chat, you can just create a chat and say, hey, I want you to create a chat where I can download all my thoughts, random thoughts, things to do, and save them for me. And then as you're driving, just say, oh my gosh, I forgot to call Dan Smith back. Remind me to call him back. Or I need to get those photos uploaded. Or I forgot to get that market emailed. Or I need to pick up my kids tomorrow at 4:15 and I forgot. Or I'm going to forget. Let me know. You can just continue to download it, and it saves it all for you in real time. And then when you're done, you can go back and say, hey, throw that in a Word document for me so I can print it out. Or give me a printout in Chat, and then you can copy and paste it and put it in your notes or whatever you want to do. But in real time, it's just a way to download so you do not forget it and you don't have to write it down. So it's a good little hack. It's a way to save a lot of time and not forget things. I see three questions. 1 second here.
So how is that different from Siri or Alexa?
So Siri, I mean, if I did the exact same thing, if I asked Siri the question, let's try it. What are some things I can do to generate business as winter approaches for my clients to get more buyers and sellers? First thing it says is, do you want me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
That's hilarious.
Apple has failed miserably, and I'm an Apple guy. Apple has failed miserably at AI. They promised all this stuff last year and didn't deliver on any of it, and they're getting passed by, Google is kicking their ass. Microsoft is also. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Got another question back here.
Quick question about integration. I use API Nation to handshake between all my apps and my programs, and it works pretty well.
Awesome.
Do any of these AI programs, including ChatGPT, integrate with either API or like Microsoft Outlook or any calendars?
I haven't seen any unless you have because I've actually created an AI app for my office, and we do have integrations that work with that. I have not seen them work with API Nation, but I did tell Todd one of the things that I created as a workflow with API Nation the other day was I use Go High Level for one of my CRMs for recruiting, and I have that. So as soon as a new contact is added, I use API Nation to add that to my iCloud contacts, so they're immediately entered into my phone. And then I have a piggyback off that. So when a Google Calendar event is created, I use make.com. Make is kind of a drag and drop system, kind of like Zapier, but make.com will actually go, when that calendar event is created, it will then search that agent on Perplexity, which is another AI tool that's really useful. If you don't want to pay for ChatGPT, use Perplexity. It's got some really cool resources where it will go and search the internet for you. But it's going and finding everything about these agents that I'm trying to recruit. It's pulling that into a Slack message and sending it to me. So there are so many automations that you can use with products like make.com or N8N. N8N is very technical, so sounds like you're pretty savvy if you're using API Nation. But there are tools out there that allow you to do a lot of these integrations pretty easily.
Do we have another question over here somewhere? I thought we did. Oh, Judy, yes.
I think it's been partially answered, talking about integration, but so he had that stream of conscious conversation on his way somewhere about picking up his daughter at 4:15. Can ChatGPT then just say, hey, set an alarm on my phone or put it into my calendar?
Not yet. A lot of this stuff is coming. I mean, we are in the infancy of AI. I remember, so one of my good friends, he sold his tech company for millions of dollars, and he's the first one that told me about ChatGPT when it got launched. It was December of 2022. That's when I started using it. And I just sat there staring at the wall going, what? I feel like I'm just missing the boat on what this is capable of. And so a lot of my conversations while I'm driving with AI, it sounds really nerdy and kind of sad, but a lot of my conversations are just like, I'm missing something. You're capable of so much more. It's like a pep talk to one of my kids. But that's why I'm sitting there going, spinning my wheels going, what is this capable of? What am I missing? And so when you just have those conversations, and it's just easier while I'm driving to do it via voice, I think it makes a bigger impact on what your results will end up. So to come back to your question, no, you can't do that yet. But you could say, hey, create a task list for me, check boxes. So you can do stuff like that. You will see more integration. Google's really pushing it ahead because of their ecosystem with Android phones. I think it's probably more likely that you see that with an Android phone in the next 3 to 6 months.
I just opted in for the Gemini thing, and it's driving me crazy because everything that I'm used to doing, I can't, it's just screwing it all up. Does Gemini interact well with ChatGPT? If I focus on this, can I figure this out?
It doesn't, because Gemini is Google's AI agent, and so they've created their own. And a lot of the reports are that Gemini is actually way more advanced than what they've launched to the public, and that it's light years ahead of ChatGPT. But Google's concerned about how people are going to use it. So they're releasing this stuff like Nano Banana over time in VO3. But I mean, I saw a video the other day where, the deep fakes of people talking are going to be undistinguishable. You're not going to know what's real and what's not. So I think there's a fine line there. Go ahead.
Just real quick to kind of piggyback on what Judy said about stream of consciousness and just talking. So Tyler had me down a month or so ago to speak to his group. We talked about what he thought was important for that group, the amount of time I had. And so I created a chat. And for about 2 weeks, and I do some speaking and I'm training all the time, I just started to download and talked into chat on all the things I thought I wanted to do that day, and stories I wanted to share, key points I wanted to make, what was important about right now, like managing seller expectations, and then all the little examples, scripts, dialogues, objection handling, and then ideas about business life. And then I might think of something later like, oh my gosh, I got to use this example. Or I saw a great reel and I'm like, I need to use this reel. And I just did that for 2 weeks, driving around. And then I came back and said, take everything that I dropped in there and put together a format for an hour-and-a-half talk based on the timelines I have and break it down into categories. Now, he took the transcription of what I did, and it was pretty close, much shorter. Mine was longer, but it immediately laid out the entire day for me in my speech and my presentation, and then I could tweak from there. But what's really important is in terms of saving time. Like if I sat down on a Saturday with a cup of coffee and tried to go back and take all my notes, I could do it, but it would have taken me all morning, at least 4 hours, to really go through and just filter the information and put it in a format that made sense. And all that brain power, I had to tweak it at the end, but just the downloading, the organizing, and getting it to a place where I could fine-tune it, it did it all for me. And so listing presentations, ideas you have for buyers, like if you have a thought about what I could be doing on a listing presentation, if you have it record you on one and say, what could I be doing better? Or incorporate this idea into my presentation. What are the top 5 or 10 questions I should be asking my sellers when I walk in the door? It's just a tool to make yourself better and more efficient. So, thanks.
Yeah. So here's a good example, kind of what Todd was just saying. Here's a good example of, hey, here's my follow-up to a listing presentation that I went on. I knew and I told them I was going to send them a follow-up email because I always do. But I knew I was in competition with 2 other agents for this listing. And like I said earlier, I don't go on a lot of listing presentations. This was a weird situation that I had to go on. So I gave it ChatGPT all the info. I didn't type all this. I use a product called WhisperFlow, which I think works on a PC and a Mac. It's like $60 a year, but I just hold down a button on my computer, and then I can talk, and it transcribes everything. So I'm way faster at talking than I am typing. You saw me type earlier. So I was able to send this. Here's a policy version of the follow-up email draft you can use. Leaving space for your contractor list, okay? And I said, oh, I forgot to include this attachment. Don't say unique parcels. Got it, here's the updated. Insert the link for the Zillow house, but I don't know if they were all cash. Also, I'm not attaching the RPR. I'm including the link. Who here uses RPR? All right. Normally I don't have that many hands up. So here's the email. I said, do mention additional stats based on the market stats screenshot. And then I gave all my contractors. Here's the revised edition. I said, add Caitlin's cleaning service. It gave it to me one more time. Also include a link to the YouTube video as an example of our virtual staging. I'm going to open that one up for you real quick.
Welcome to 3080 and 37 acres right in the heart. Tim, the only thing weird about this place is check out what happens when you hit that light switch.
You get the idea. So I sent this email, I gave it some more instructions. I sent this email, and I got the listing. So think just giving it the details of the discussion that we had and making sure that I followed up properly was what gave me the edge over the competition. When I say I talk to AI, here's the example. We've come full circle because I get distracted by squirrels and stuff. Here's where I'm on the way to a showing, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to know more about this house.
It's a 4-bedroom, 4.5-bath, single-family home on 5 private wooded acres in Springboro, built back in 1978. Over 5,600 square feet inside, with a wraparound deck, in-ground heated pool, sauna, workout room, and even a 4-car garage. Kind of like your dream cabin crossed with a mansion. They're listing it for $695,000 right now. New roof coming next year. Sound like somewhere you'd want to check out?
Just give me some more data on it. What did it last sell for?
From what I found, it last sold on June 24th, 2008 for $542,300. Not bad for back then. Prices have jumped since.
What do you think it's worth today?
Based on recent listings, it's priced at $695,000, but Zillow estimates its estimate around $1,242,500, probably because of that 5-acre lot and all the upgrades. Market's hot for big homes like this, though updates could swing it either way. Worth haggling if you're eyeing it.
What are my comparables?
Looking nearby, homes on 1 to 5 acres here, like a 3-bed on 3 acres went for $580 last month, and a bigger 5-bed on 4 acres listed at $750. Yours stacks up solid with that pool and deck, so comparables push toward $800,000 if it flips fast. Don't lowball too hard; they'll know you're serious.
Anything else I should know about the property?
It backs up to woods, no close neighbors, so privacy's top notch. But HOA rules might limit any wild renos. Utilities are hooked up great, well water with filtration, and septic solid from inspections last year. One catch, basement flooded once in 2019, fixed with pump since. Still, killer sunset views from the deck. Ready to dive deeper?
Do you think I knew more about that listing when I walked in than if I didn't ask? That was so easy, and you just have a conversation. So I don't seem as weird when I talk to AI, right?
Hey, I'm going to jump in one
Yeah.
more time. I'm going to go back to the listing you got when you sent them all that information. I made the point earlier about no new fundamentals. So this is high tech today. It's about AI. But the fundamental is he gave so much value to that seller that they couldn't say no. If you want to go win in the market, give so much value that they can't ignore you, right? Well, he just used the tool to give them more value and show them what he could do. And he showed up more informed on the other one. So you got to leverage the tool to give more value and create more value and more volume of value. We got a quick question.
Yeah.
So you keep referring to so many different tools. I can't keep them straight. How do you just know what to use? And I mean, obviously you use.
Sure. So in the QR code, let me pull that guide up for you real quick. everything that we talked about in here. Let's go AI toolkit. I go step by step. AI tools every agent should be using. Firefly's AI, why it's important and how to use it. Apple Notes, Notebook LM, ChatGPT Premium. I actually crossed out Pro and Operator, the $200 a month version, because I don't recommend it. Manus is actually the next tool that I'm going to show you here in a second. AI for video content and social media. I know Todd uses this one as well. But yeah, I've got all the tools that we'll talk about and which ones I use. But primarily, if you do nothing else today, start using ChatGPT. If you do nothing else. I'm going to show you 2 really cool things real quick.
I want to chime in again. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're going to get all this material and follow-ups, all of it, everything, full recording of the day, all the links, QR codes, everything. But I also want to I'm going to beat a dead horse here. The goal today is to get 2 things. So don't get overwhelmed. Fear and overwhelm create paralysis. Action's going to win the game. I'll say that at the end of the day. So just pick 1 or 2 of these things. And I agree. If you're going to start, just start using chat and start small. And we're going to get you everything. And then layer on that little improvements, little tweaks. But don't get overwhelmed and just stop.
You can even ask ChatGPT, like, what AI tool can I use for this? To give you an example, I've never used this program before. This is called Gamma. AI created this entire presentation for me yesterday. I just gave it the info and the outline that I used ChatGPT to help me create based on the content. That document that I just showed you, I said, hey, this is what I want to present tomorrow. Can you give me a prompt for an AI tool that will create a presentation for me? And that's what I did. Yeah.
Sometimes when I use ChatGPT to do an email and then I copy and paste it into my Gmail and send it and CC myself and I go back and look at it and the format's all changed. Why does it do that? And how do we stop that?
Google's really bad about, and I've run into this with Google Docs. A lot of times ChatGPT will do things with Markdown. It's fancy term for how it codes the actual like formatting. And so you can ask it for without formatting. The other thing that I've realized is if I'm in ChatGPT, that's not ChatGPT. I think I might have closed it. Hold on. Let's say that I want to go in and take this. If I just copy this and hit copy, a lot of times the formatting is going to be incorrect. Instead, go down to this copy button at the bottom, and typically my formatting's better that way. Now I still need to, a lot of times it'll give me this crap at the end where it's like, hey, just one more little, here's how to use this. And it drives me insane. So a lot of times I'm like, just give me the copy and paste. And if you're running into formatting issues, say, I would take a screenshot of it and just upload it to ChatGPT and say, hey, this looks wrong. And it will tell you why, and it will fix it for you. So, all right, I'm going to use a tool called Manus. When I said I used to use the product ChatGPT operator, what it did was go on and it went onto the internet for me. So ChatGPT can do basic searches. It can even do deep research where it reads web pages for you, but it can't necessarily click buttons and do those kind of things. Manus can to some extent. So to give you a quick example, I think a lot of the menial tasks that we do, like entering listings into the MLS, are going to go away because of AI. And so as an example, I used ChatGPT operator and I gave it a PDF of an MLS printout just as a demo. And I said, enter this into the MLS, here's the website. And ChatGPT operator did it, and it took about 45 minutes and it was completely wrong. And that's when I decided to stop paying $200 a month for it. Then I tried it with Manus, and it did it relatively quickly, still with some additional information. Let me actually show you that. Enter MLS. Dismiss. Apparently I have no content called MLS. All right. I don't know if it's too old or if I've deleted it. All right. Well, anyhow, what I'm going to show you, this is one of my favorite use cases for AI. And this one does take a minute, so let's, if you guys need a drink, grab a drink. All right, I'm going to go over to my MLS again. I'm going to log in. And I have no idea what your MLS system looks like. One thing I do want to show you before I jump into this, a lot of you raised your hand with RPR. Have you guys used the AI tools that RPR has? You can do some really cool things with this. Who here does video? I want to see more hands next time. All right, so I can go over here to research, and I can go to residential market trends, and I can put in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And up here at the top right, there's this little button that says Create Script. You can do this every single month. And it's going to use, it actually uses ChatGPT. My tone is more conversational. I don't want it to be professional. And let's say that I want to focus on, let's go downsizing sellers. And I can do a social media post. I can do a client email. I can do a video script. I can do market trends. Let's say that I want let's do the video script. Generating my script for that video just from this clicking a button. Hey there, Fort Wayne homeowners. If you're thinking about downsizing, I'm Tyler Morton with RE/MAX Victory. I would never open it like that. So I would probably take this and throw it into ChatGPT and say, let's actually just do it. We're just going to copy text, go back to chat, rewrite this script like I would speak. And I still hate it, so I'm going to say remove my intro because no one cares. If they're watching the video, they typically know who I am. Remove my intro. Here's the script again with your intro cut out, so it jumps right to the message. If downsizing has been on your mind, here's a quick market update that might help you with your next move. Right now, we're sitting in a seller's market, only about 2.17 months of inventory. In plain English, that means there aren't enough homes for all the buyers out there. So if you list, chances are it's going to move fast. You can do this video. You can do B-roll, which is just like background video and stuff like that. Or you could just have like yourself in front of a fake green screen with that image. Or you could just, if you don't want to be on the video, just do a voiceover with a screenshot of where, oh, I closed RPR. But just have that information in the background so they can see it. So that's how easily I can create content. Again, content is king. You've got it at your fingertips with all the data that we have out there. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you and how I use Manus. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go into the MLS, and I'm going to do a standard residential search. And I want everything sold, let's go 365. I'm not doing math in public, 5 years, 1825, all right? So I go over here and I say, I want all the solds in the last 5 years in, let's go Beaver Creek School District, my hometown, 4,277 matches. I click on results. And I want to check all of these, and I hit export. This is something you're going to have to figure out. I've created a custom export in my MLS, which just gives me a spreadsheet. It's pretty easy. I don't know if you use Matrix. What do you guys use? Okay, I have no idea how to do this in there. So, but you should be able to create something like this where it's just giving me a spreadsheet. So I'm going to hit export. And now I've got this big, long list of all the homes that sold in Beaver Creek in the last 5 years with the address, the city, the state, the zip, the price, who the listing agent was, who the co-listing agent was, who the buyer's agent was, the listing contract date, and the subdivision name. All right? That's a lot of data. What do I do with it? I'm going to go over to Manus, and I'm going to create a new task. I want to market. Let me scroll down. I think I actually have this prompt in here. Let me just do a quick search. EDD. Nope. EDDM. Anyone use Everydoor Direct marketing? There it is. All right, so here's my prompt. I know this seems really confusing what I'm doing, but you'll see it here in a second. All right, copy this prompt. And go to the wrong website. All right, here we go. Here's my prompt. I'm going to upload that file that we just downloaded. And I will add this file to that document that I showed you, that prompt. I'll add this in there as well so you guys can use it. Let's go to downloads, and here's the inventory CSV. All right. So I created this prompt, and it says, I have a comprehensive real estate market analysis task. I'm uploading MLS sales data for, it's Beaver Creek, Ohio. I should have entered that. I need you to identify the best neighborhoods for a realtor to dominate through strategic geographic farming. Find neighborhoods with high sales volume but low listing agent concentration. Clean and combine similar subdivision names like Royal Point Section 03 and Section 07. Just make it Royal Point. Use postal codes to separate truly different geographic areas that may have similar names. Focus on actual subdivision neighborhoods, not just street names. Competitive intelligence. Identify the top 30 listing agents in each target neighborhood. Calculate their market share percentages. Show total number of listings and percentage of market control. I'm not going to read all of this. This is a really long prompt. What I'm trying to do is find out what neighborhoods in Beaver Creek, Ohio, have the most opportunity for an agent to dominate. So it's going to go through all 4,277 of those sales, and it's going to tell me which neighborhoods have agents with less than 10% market share dominating those neighborhoods. Because if it's sporadic, no one's farming them. And then it's going to say, okay, let's create an Everydoor Direct campaign to mail to those neighborhoods. Here's what the cost is going to be, and here's what your anticipated return on investment is going to be based on the average sale price of those neighborhoods. All right, so I can see.
Can I jump in again?
Yeah.
Key point here, how we use the tool, great bit of data. If you go into any geographic farm and there's an agent, no agents with more than 10% market share, the neighborhood, the geographic farm is open for somebody to take over. So any neighborhood, any database, but if it's a geographic farm, 10% tends to be the threshold that there's opportunity for you to go in because it's too sporadic, it's too diverse, and no one's dominating that neighborhood. So it's a key point.
Yeah. So it's doing all this nerdy stuff in the background, and this is where I said it's actually coding. ChatGPT, I can do the same thing, and it's not going to give me the same results. Manus can go click on websites. It can go to Everydoor Direct, find out what the cost is going to be. ChatGPT can't do that as well. So this is the kind of stuff that I use it for. The other one that I use is called Comet. This is a tool by Perplexity. It's, I think, invite only at the moment. But we're going to do while that's working in the background, I'm going to go over to Dayton Realtors again. And I'm going to log in. That's usually when people are like, just glazed over look on their face. All right. So I'm going over to Comet, and I'm just going to click on My Listings. We're going to take this one. All right. And let's go print. Print to PDF. There it is. So this is just an example, because typically I would upload this PDF, but I'm going to leave it open in the browser. And I'm going to say, create a new listing, just so you can see where we're headed. This is not perfect by any means, but I want to go to input. I want to say add new. Let's go over here to the assistant. And I'm going to just copy that. Enter a new listing. into the MLS on this page. Here is the info. All right. I've got two really cool things going on right now, and I'm not doing anything, right? I've got market research going on in one browser, and then I've got this one. No, I don't want to use Common as my default. It's clicking. You guys can see it's clicking the actual buttons in the MLS for me, right? It's getting the data. It's going back and forth. MLS page is ready to, okay. No, I want you to do it. Extracting the details from the PDF and the other page. All right, here we go. It's inputting. Remember I told you earlier, ChatGPT operator did this and it took like 45 minutes and it was terrible. And then Manus did it and it did it probably in like 15 minutes and it was still kind of terrible. Last time I did this, and I'm running into issues, of course, because I told you I'd break technology. Last time I did this, it was able to enter this stuff in like 5 minutes. So, and all I did was give it a PDF. You guys have listing input sheets, right? All you have to do is give it your listing input sheet, and it can enter it into the MLS for you. All right, I'm going to go back over here to Manus. Oh, look, it's on USPS. It's going to Got Print to find out the printing cost of those flyers for me. All right, while those two things are happening, PDF link with, okay, that expired. You get the idea. I'm not going to bore you with watching a computer type for me.
So Tyler, it's basically going in the MLS and filling out every field based on the PDF for your listing input.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, stuff that would normally take you 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to take you 10 to 30 seconds in the next year. I mean, it's getting that good. All right, so let's get out of Comet. That's still working for me. All right. Here's a couple examples. Turn that into a 7-day plan. Write seller follow-ups. Give me 5 Instagram captions from my market guide. We were just on to Manus and Comet. Man, I'm right on schedule here. All right, so personal content factory. ChatGPT, generate complete 30-day content calendars with market-specific posts, client tips, and engagement content. One of your big tips for ChatGPT, don't ask it to do all that at once. Ask it to create you a 30-day outline first, and then say, hey, now generate the content for the first 5 days or 10 days or whatever it is. Because when you try to give it like a giant prompt, ChatGPT kind of freaks out, and then sometimes it takes shortcuts and gives you garbage. So ask for the outline first, and then say, okay, now take that outline and give me the first 3 days. 30 days is probably actually too much because you're not going to stick to it. Ask for content that you're going to use today and then tweak it. Video marketing. We take long form content. So let me log over to Opus. Does anyone use Opus Pro? Does anyone know what it is? Does anyone care? All right. So Opus, what it does is it takes long form content and it cuts it up into short snippets for you. So reels, stuff like that. Rather than, well, I'll just show you. Let's go over to YouTube and let me grab this video of Todd. So I'm going to use it for today's video. And let's see. This one's 3 hours, so I'm going to share. We'll just copy the link. We throw this into Opus. It's going to take that YouTube video and 3 hours of content. How many do you think we get out of there, Todd? 100? All right, so here we go. Find specific moments. Nope. Those are all fine. I like that style. right. It's processing right now, but that's a 3-hour video. Let me go back to YouTube and just show you some examples. These are examples of shorts that it created.
You're going to see a
from
20%
YouTube
reduction in agents in the next 12 months. I mean, there's a reason statistically 80% of agents fail within the first 2 years. And so
it's captioning it, it's titling it, it's tagging it, it's giving me the hashtags, it's doing all of that for me. For me to have my video editor go through a 3-hour video to pick out 20-second, 30-second clips would cost me too much money. Opus does it in about 10 minutes. I'll have 50 to 100 clips. So I was able to take a 3-hour video, which is a great piece of content, but break it up into all these little shorts relatively easily. And it's like $30 a month. It might even be cheaper than that. All right, so you get the idea on Opus. Automated follow-ups. This is where things get really weird. We talked about the talking bear and fake clips. HeyGen is another one. It's HeyGen, and you can do some cool things. When we talked about RPR videos, let's see. Here's one I did. This is April 2024. It's gotten way better since then, but this wasn't perfect enough, and so I kind of had a standard that I was like, hey, this isn't quite realistic enough, and so I don't want to use it. But I used RPR script. All I did was copy it, threw it into HeyGen, which had a video of me talking for like 2 minutes, and then it creates this fake version of me.
The latest market update for Beaver Creek, Ohio. Right now, the housing scene here is buzzing. With a 1.1 month supply of inventory, this marks a significant uptick of more than 59% over the past year, indicating that homes are moving off the market at a brisk pace. For those of you...
You get the idea. So that's not me. No, all I did was take the RPR script and throw it into HeyGen, and it created that video that looks like I'm talking. Yeah. That's my actual voice. It took my voice and it imitates it. So yeah, it's crazy, and it's only gotten better since then. I tried it like a month ago. It's still not perfect. Actually, I think the voice has somehow gotten worse. But you're going to have that with AI. Like, things are going to get better.
You're just older.
I'm just older?
You're just a lot older.
Yeah. My beard's still gray in that video. Come on. But yeah, you're going to be able to automate this stuff. You're going to be able to send out videos to your entire database every single week just by putting in a prompt. So I think it does lack some authenticity. It doesn't have the emotion, doesn't talk exactly how I do, but it's getting better. Did you hear I said do? I was like, no. It doesn't have that. People know it's not me. All right. And then premium listings. We already talked about VO3. That's what we use Gemini to create that video. All right, let's get into lead capture. I'm going to do this real quick. I don't know how to code at all. Don't know how to. What I do know how to do is take a guide and create a website out of it. All right, so let's go to My Lovable. Here's my spaces. And here we go. So I had ChatGPT. Actually, I had Manus go and find me all the mom and pop spots, all the mom and pop shops, restaurants, places to go. I had it create an entire guide for me. I threw it into ChatGPT and said, reformat this so it looks better. And then I took it to Lovable and said, create me a website with all the places to go in Dayton, Ohio. So local gyms and eats guide, your curated guide to attractions, eats, and family fun across Beaver Creek, Kettering, Centerville, Yellow Springs, downtown, Fairborn, and surrounding communities. There's the attractions. There's the restaurants. Places to go with families and kids. Again, I don't know how to create a website. It just did this for me from a guide that AI created for me. With a click of a button. Like, you could create anything you want, website-wise. So, lovable.ai, I'm not going to get into the weeds on it because I can see the glazed look on your faces. But you could really use this for a lead capture. For how many people belong to a Facebook group where it's like relocating to Fort Wayne, right? And people are like, oh, I'm moving there from California with my husband. And you know, we have 2 dogs and we're thinking about, and then every agent on the planet chimes in and then people will recommend other people. Do you think creating a website about the community might set you apart? You're not spamming them with anything. Hey, welcome to Dayton, Ohio. Hope you enjoy it. If you have questions, let me know. Put together this guide for all of my clients. That's all you have to say. You don't have to create a website. You can just have a link to a PDF. But yeah, you can do so much with AI. This took me no time at all to click a button and just say, create a website. You can actually see what I said. I want to create an interactive guide with links to maps and websites for a Word doc I have with recommended places around Dayton, Ohio. This is what it created. When you don't know what to ask it. So like a lot of times, I'll ask ChatGPT how to prompt other AI systems because I don't know how to do that. I don't do it as well as it does. Let's see how Manus is doing real quick with our little project. I have too many windows open. There it is. All right, successfully converted to PDF. Oh my gosh, here's my farming plan. Here's my real estate market domination strategy. It's got an executive summary. Market opportunity, Knollwood, 25.5 annual sales, average price $222,000, top 3 agent share 5.9%. Sounds like a pretty dang good real estate idea to market to that neighborhood, right? Top 3 agents only have 5.9%. Opportunity score, I don't even know how it came up with that. And it gives me all these graphs that I don't know what they mean. Competitive intelligence report. Top competing agents, Erica Halbert, Lisa Goris-May, and Candace Sarber. It shows me every one of how many sales they had. They're trending. Entry difficulty, low, recommended strategy, direct competition with multiple marketing channels. No dominant market leader, opportunity for quick market share gain, 66 previously active agents now inactive, potential client base available. Then it goes to Tara, and then it goes into, all right, here's your financial projections and ROI. Give me a freaking business plan. You know how long it would take me to create this on my own? And it talks about how to implement this. Or maybe it didn't, and I can just drop this PDF into ChatGPT and say, okay, how do I implement this plan for these 3 neighborhoods? So we're just tying tools together. And when you don't know what to ask ChatGPT. Hey, what do I do with this, right? All right. I'm going to let it open up for Q&A. We already have a question.
Can you take like an MLS flyer and then make you like a pretty brochure or flyer? Can it do something like that?
Not yet. What I found is when AI is trying to create text, even on that bear video, like it spelled my office name incorrectly. So text is really hard for AI to do. And I don't know why that's the case, but you're starting to see more and more companies create even videos just from still photos. This is one that's out there. This is not in my guide. I think it's called Blonde Waterfall. Remax actually just started doing this for all of our listings, which is really cool. Blonde Waterfall. There we go. Okay, these are not actual videos. Their website is...
Realtors, stop wasting time and money filming listing videos. At Blonde Waterfall, we make 3D walkthrough videos fully remotely using only your photos. Simply give us your listing link and we do the rest. In just one day, we take your photos and virtually rebuild your listing, allowing us to film 3D walkthrough videos, social media tours, trending edits, and much more.
So all those are just photos that they made into videos, right? Using AI. So to answer your question, flyers aren't there yet, but I have a feeling there's going to be a company out there that says, give us your link to your Realtor.com or your Zillow listing, and we'll turn it into a flyer.
I think Canva's working really hard on trying to make
Yeah.
all that happen, where you can drop in the Canva AI, drop any flyer, data, information, photos you need, PDFs.
Yeah, because it's going to get to the point where you're not even going to have to go into, who here uses Canva? Lots of hands. Yeah, they have like millions of users, right? But you're just going to be able to say, hey, create me a flyer for 123 Main Street, and it's going to be able to do it. Like, you're not going to have to drag and drop anything. So.
Questions?
Yeah, how accurate can the AI determine pricing for houses? So, you know, seeing what's available as far as your opportunity to price maybe on the little higher end of the market if you see a shortage?
I really think it depends on the data that you give it. So if I uploaded like 5,000 sales, it's going to be able to help me price a property way better than if I just give it 3 comps, right? If I give it photos of all those 3 comps or all 5,000, this is where AI is heading. It's going to be really damn good at predicting pricing based on all the data that's available. Because if it goes to the internet and finds every photo of every listing that sold within a half-mile radius of that property over the last 20 years, it's going to be able to compare your photos of your listing to those and say, okay, this one has granite countertops, this one has Formica, this one has hardwood floors, this one has old dingy carpet. And so it's definitely going to be able to do that. It's just a matter of when. But for now, it depends on the data that you're giving it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you do any of these services in Spanish?
I'm sure you can. I mean, if you go to Google, I can translate any page, right? I can translate any page into Spanish. I could, ChatGPT, you can definitely ask for things in Spanish. Yeah, go ahead.
Another question.
Notes?
Yeah, notes translate.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's...
Notes on the iPhone? Everybody hear that? Notes on the iPhone actually will translate for you.
The new AirPods translate in real time. Meta sunglasses translate as well. So when you saw me driving, I was not holding up my phone. I was just recording on my glasses. The new ones, the new glasses that just got launched, actually have a heads-up display in them. And it can show you, like, you can message people just by, like, making hand movements because it's got a monitor on your wrist that knows how, like, you're typing.
Tyler's actually a robot. I wasn't going to tell you guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's super cool stuff coming out. And, you know, I don't think people are, I'm sure people will continue to learn second languages, third languages. But with real-time translation, it's just not going to be as necessary.
Another question up front. Mark's on his way.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate
Sure.
here. So if we are having access to all of this, who's to say that people that do not have their license do not have access to all of this and they're going to play agent themselves?
You're definitely going to see that because I can go in and say, hey, write me a commercial lease, and it will do it right now. I can have it write me an LLC. You're going to have people that use this for sale by owners. I think it's still going to be few and far between, and that's where I think agents need to start leveraging it now so that you can increase your value proposition by doing 50 different things for a client that they're not going to be willing or know how to do on their own. So, yeah.
It's back to the fundamentals. People buy and sell so seldom, and it's the biggest asset for almost all families. And could they do it? Maybe. But because it's a huge transaction and they don't do it with any consistency or expertise, it's not worth the risk. So they'd rather pay a trusted advisor. It's the risk. It's the risk factor with the human element. It's not worth the risk. If you're going to do 10 or 15 a year and you're an investor, it would be worth your time to learn and create some systems to do it. But if you're going to do it once every 7 years and there's a lot at stake with your family and your biggest asset, it changes the game. Any other questions?
Tyler, can you touch on the agent mode and if you use that
as opposed to just the standard GPT?
Yeah, so agent mode will actually go out and do some of the things that we were talking about, like Manus does. I just don't think it does it as well, and so that's why I use Manus for those kind of tasks where it will go and do things on your behalf, like search the internet. Another cool thing that you can do with ChatGPT is schedule tasks. So like every day, I have ChatGPT send me an email that gives me AI news, right? And it summarizes it for me. You can do the same thing for real estate. Hey, anytime a house sells in this neighborhood, I want to be alerted. Or anytime you could have your daily content delivered to you. So you could say, hey, give me the top 3 real estate news stories, summarize them for me, and turn them into marketing pieces that I can use. Right? And that's all automated. Like you can just create that task within ChatGPT. And so instead of me going and finding a YouTube video that Jimmy Mackin did and saying, hey, turn this into a marketing tool for me on this new listing, it can just do that for you. So yeah, you're going to have, we're almost to the point where we have agentic agents, meaning that they can go perform tasks on your behalf, but you still have to ask them to do it. You're going to have predictive agents that do this without you asking it, because it's going to anticipate what your requests are going to be.
Any more questions? Okay, let's give Tyler a huge round of applause. Tyler, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Who in here is mind blown? I am. Wow, overwhelming. So a couple quick things as we part ways today. Number one, I'm mind blown. Remember, we have this thing in coaching, go deeper, not wider. You can't do all this. None of us can. Nobody's Tyler. He's a robot. He's got to go plug in and recharge here in a minute because that was insane. But it is overwhelming. Any training is overwhelming. So the question is, just when you leave today, if you use your notes, distill it and have it summarize everything, but just figure out what 1 or 2 things you can incorporate in your life. That's the deal. If you do that today, today was a win. If you don't, it's not a win. You burn 2 hours. But hopefully you have a better understanding in terms of context of what AI can do, where it's headed, and you can find a couple little things you can leverage in your life. And then the key is, once you get those dialed in, is just layering in one more little thing that you can do. And then maybe in 6 weeks or a month or 2, one more little thing. And you're going to find that your own process of learning and going deeper, not wider, is going to be way more effective in your business. It's going to have more impact. If you try to do it all and you take the shotgun approach to all this stuff, 3 weeks from now, you won't be doing any of it. That would be my prediction. So pick 1 or 2, incorporate them, and put them into play. Yes, send emails to your clients every week, and let chat help you make better, more effective emails that connect. Right there's the win. If you do that, you're going to win. Secondly, we have some great giveaways today. We have some books we're going to give away. So before you head out, we want to give a few things away. Jacqueline's got the books, and I think let's let Tyler draw. He can be that way. All of you that put honey or gum on your card, I'm not going to be the one that pulled your card out. Okay, the first book, Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents. Awesome book. Andy Miller. Andy's up here. You can listen to Andy. Next book, One Small Change. One of my favorite books. When I talk about starting small and incorporating changes, this is the book. Who do we got?
Christina
Core. Christina. Next book. This is a classic. What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Hopefully we don't get to hear what's in your head. Awesome book about programming yourself for success and not self-sabotaging yourself.
Jenna
Nelson. Jenna. There you go. Come on up, Jenna. Next book, AI-Powered Real Estate. Tyler did not write it. I haven't read this one. Okay, who do we have? Jeremy Luther. Jeremy, come on up. Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. This was a great, one of the best TED Talks ever by Angela Duckworth. The winner is Corey Sturat. I don't know if Corey's still back here. Corey, you're the man. You get it. One more?
And if you didn't win, you can just have your notes tell you what these titles were and then have AI summarize them. Jordan Baker.
Okay, Jordan Baker, The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher. Great book. Come on up. Thanks, Chaplain. So anyway, thanks for taking the time. That was mind-blowing. Hopefully you took a couple great things from this. Thanks to Tyler for making the trip up here and sharing all this information. You're going to get everything that was talked about, including notes, follow-up materials, links, anything that happened today. If anything isn't in there, you have follow-up questions, reach out to myself or Jacqueline, and my team will get to Tyler. We'll get it back to you. So a big shout-out again to Hallmark Home Mortgage. The staff here at the Miro rocks. They're awesome. The technology, the facilities, first class. And then my team, you guys kick ass. I appreciate you all very much. Thanks for being here. Have a great day, and go use a little bit of AI. Take care. Thanks for being here.